Angela. I'm so excited to be talking to you today. We've already had fun off camera, so that's always a good sign when we're already giggling and getting into it. And today you are part of our special campaign in January, all about New Year Heals Me. And it's really a 360 journey into healing ourselves on every level, both inside and out. And how you show up in the world and how you take care of yourself says so much about who you are and if you are healed or not. And I thought, what better to have someone who is relatable, but has a clinical background. And I love the work you do. I've been following you for a bit in social media. And so I'm excited to have you on. My first question is an easy one. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. To be super honest, so this is for you to know. Well, the rest of us listening obviously will know as well. Funny thing, did not say that, but I thought that our talk was yesterday. So I set everything up yesterday, but it's because of the time difference. So for the people who don't know, I'm Dutch. I live in the Netherlands. Let's just say that. Like, I got my setup done super early. Other than that, I'm good, but I was just afraid that I would one way or another not make it, or something would go wrong again. But other than that, I'm good.
So I want to jump right in and talk about, there's a lot of discussion about hair type, right?
Sure.
And so could you give a quick overview? I know that there's a lot going on here, but your best attempt at a quick overview of hair types, particularly hair type 3 and 4, which is what we find most Black women are going to fall into. Not everyone, but most Black women fall into.
Yeah, I'm going to explain it, but I'm also already going to say that I don't really believe in hair types, but I'm going to, I'm going to
love that.
Literally.
Okay.
But like, when we talk about, like, there's type 1 to 4, and they're divided in like ABC, 1 and 2, straight, wavy. Okay.
Let's
forget about that. That's simple. But after like type 3, it gets kind of more complicated. 3 I would consider as curly, and I would say type 4 is more kinky, coily. But here's the thing. I think that hair is so complex when it comes to the texture and the form. You can even look at your own hair, and you'll probably find like 3 to sometimes even 4 different hair types.
Yes.
And that's why I don't really believe in it. It gives direction, especially if you're just, becoming natural and just starting to figure out what to do with your hair. But eventually, it's all about just what you prefer and what you like. And sometimes that could mean that if a product is labeled as a type 4 product and you have type 3 hair, or sometimes even type 2 hair, and it could still work. So it gives direction. But yeah, there's so much more than just the hair type. We need to talk about density, about the width of the actual hair strand, what you do with it. It's so much more complex. So that's why I feel like hair typing, I did it myself in the past too. It gives direction, especially in the beginning. But after years and years, you're also noticing yourself, like, am I really basing stuff off of my hair type or just off of my hair needs?
Yes. First of all, thank you for that. That was like, you've set me free, and I hope we're setting other people free because for example, same thing. I went years ago, went to a hair care, I went to like a specialist, and they were like, you have 3 types of hair in your head. And I was just like, well, what am I supposed to do now? It's like, how can I have 3B to 4A and 3, like, what am I supposed to do? If I was just matching products, does that mean I need 3 different products?
Yeah. Do we need a section? Do we need to give every like hair type a different routine? Like,
so what do you think the factors more than being type 4C?
I first want to like dive into what you just said, because I do get where it's coming from. Me, due to my science background, I'm just a nerd. I focus on science because I'm like, it's been tested over and over and over again. We get data out of it, like the output. But what I've also discovered, and I'm happy that there's been a shift for the past, I would say 2 years, so that a lot of the time certain products or certain methods or certain diseases even were not tested or worked on with textured hair or people of color when it comes to certain scalp conditions. So a lot of like all that time before, we weren't that researched. So there was a reason why we tried to figure it out ourselves. So I do get that right now it's all of a sudden like, oh, there's studies now. Oh, now you're going to tell me what to do. So I get it from that point of view, 100%. But I would like to say, like, give it some time. I've seen great research being done, and it is very beneficial also to us, even though we know a lot due to experience and trial and error. Like, it's amazing to see that companies and people are investing time and effort into that as well right now. And I think that in the near future, we'll really benefit from that. And I think that also is the reason why now we see that it's more so focused on specific needs for themselves instead of the hair typing, because I feel like there's kind of a shift. A lot of product launches used to be like type 4 hair. This is for type 4. We got a type 4 range. We got a type 3 range. And there's kind of a shift where I don't see it as much anymore. So I guess that we all already are figuring out that not even science needed for that. Like, it's not that like big of a deal, the hair typing part. Yeah.
Yeah, it's trial and error, right? It's like now we're trying things, it doesn't work, we try something else. And so for you, more than the hair type, right? We'll put that to the side over here. What should be the most important considerations? Like, is porosity one or density? Like, what should be something we think about to drive how we take care of our hair?
Yeah, I think that the number one thing to understand is like what your hair goal in general is. And I think that for a lot of people, it is length or like hair growth. Well, hair growth, I would say length retention. I sometimes feel like we're focusing way too much on hair growth when, in all honesty, unless you're bald or you have bald spots, hair grows anyway. And yeah, it's also determined when it comes to genetics what the pace of that is, but hair will grow anyways. So if it's length retention, it's all about focusing on, okay, how much damage am I putting my hair through on a daily basis? And I'm not even talking about damage when it comes to like heat damage or chemically processing it. I'm talking about the day-to-day stuff that we do. Do we brush it super often? What are the hairstyles that we're rocking? And based on that, add specific products or regimens that will help out with that. But in the basics, it also a lot of the time has to do with our overall health, that for one. And two, to be super honest, what we do to our hair. Because like products can do a lot, but if the practices aren't like living up the part, we can try any product, but we won't get results.
Doesn't actually set you up for success. And many people do say their number one goal is length hair, long hair. They want long hair. Now, they don't know the difference between hair growth and retention, but they want hair.
They want inches. 100%. They want them inches. Yeah, true. And I also think like that people also don't realize that like hair is dead. As soon as it grows out of your scalp, it's dead. It's made out of dead keratinized cells, similar, not the same, but similar to our nails. Yes. And if you like to compare to that, you'll also notice that there's only that much wear and tear that your nail can handle until it rips off. And it's the same for our hair. And yes, products can do amazing things when it comes to like filling in some damaged gaps. But again, it's not your hair's own. So after a while, especially those ends, they've been through a lot of wear and tear. So protection, yes, is key.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And I think, I saw that you had made a TikTok and an Instagram about, if you could get one thing to take out of people's language is like cut off those dead ends. You're like, it's dead. It's dead.
Good luck. Yeah, good luck. That will be like a buzz cut. Like, quicker. Are you sure? Yeah.
Those dead ends, you'll be bald. That's how that works. And I agree. So it's like, it's lifestyle and whatever your hair goal should drive what products you look at, what you want. And so for folks, the goal of what I really want to start to do today is to talk about like, where do people start? Like, what's some actionable steps people can do like today? What should a basic hair, let's start with this one. What should a basic hair care routine look like? Because we see these like, I have a 35-step wash day takes 10 hours for me to do. And I'm like, well, I'm out. I'm not doing that. I'm not, even if I want hair down to my behind, I'm not willing to do that. So what should a basic healthy hair care routine look like? What should your wash day look like?
Yeah, I would say I always focus on 3 things. So that is cleansing, conditioning, and protecting, because those are the 3 that eventually give you good basics. And obviously, when you get used to this, you can used to it, you can add some, you can leave some out, but those three always need to be part of it. So cleansing, I'm talking about shampoo, not a co-wash, not apple cider vinegar, a shampoo. A clean base is important. And wash more frequently. A lot of the times, us women of color, we're used to washing once a month, maybe if we're lucky. Sometimes once every 2 months, once every 2 weeks. There are actually studies now, but without the studies, a lot of scalp issues are based off of infrequent washing. And to give you an idea, like when you look at your face, I cleanse my face on a daily, twice a day. Why? Not only because of I'm wearing makeup, obviously, but also dead skin cells that are shedding, pollution, sweat, you name it, it's all on your face. And also the products that you have applied, obviously. Would you do that? Like, would you skip that for a couple of days? I don't think you would. Because after a while, and that is what happens on our scalp, there's so much buildup that it causes inflammation, and that can lead to more problems. And that's not what we want. So, like, cleansing is super important. I always recommend once a week. Some say once every 9 days. I wouldn't stretch it personally. And if you're afraid of it, like drying your hair out, there are a ton of methods. I call them like the sandwich method, for example, that you apply a little bit of conditioner on your strands before using a shampoo if you really feel like, oh, it dries my hair out. Or to look for a more gentle shampoo, because there are a lot of out there right now that aren't as stripping, but they can do a great job at like cleansing the scalp. So that's first. Then I would say condition, because obviously, I don't know about you. I think everyone who has textured hair loves to detangle underneath the shower, or at least on damp hair.
Yeah.
We need a good conditioner for that to give slip. It could be a hair mask, a conditioner based on what you need. So I would say that. Not only will that help with giving you slip and helping you detangle your hair, it also is able to, when it is just a regular conditioner, to form a super thin layer around the hair strands and kind of filling in those gaps of missing cuticles. So what's missing, the damage on the outer layer, which will give you softer hair after washing out. And that's why sometimes the hair feels kind of rough when you rinse your shampoo out, and the conditioner really helps to flatten those cuticles a little bit, but mostly filling in those gaps. And it also gives you a little bit of a protective layer. Preferably after that, a leave-in conditioner. But again, I know that some people have different methods to that. I always say leave-in is always a good thing because, again, helps to protect, but it also gives you that soft feel, because sometimes we feel like our hair is dry, but it's more so it feels dry. And protection. So I would say your styler, so what you use to style your hair. So for a wash and go, it could be a gel or a mousse or a cream, a little bit of oil. Like, it all depends on how you like to rock your hair afterwards. But I think those are the basics when it comes to a good regimen that I think is also pretty sustainable, because out of everything, I find it important that you're able to stick to it. And then when you get used to it, you can always add a couple of things that can help you out with specific hair or scalp issues. But this is, I would say, like the most important 3 to implement in your routine.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And I think the washing thing and the myth of washing is really something that again, you arrive at it intuitively. I've been on this earth a bit, so I've, played a lot. And what I realized was, like, I can't do 2 weeks without washing my hair. I wash my hair weekly on the dot. I'm like, if it's Monday is now designated wash day. Every Monday I'm going to do it, right? Today, missed that. Today's Tuesday. I wanted to wash my hair. I'm like, I have to do it once a week, just because my hair doesn't enjoy, right? And it has a lot of product buildup, and particularly for us as women of color who love a product. I learned from my stylist, who was like, "Stop it! This is how much you need." That's the first.
We're like, no, I need to hear it.
And she's like, your hair is not made for this girl. She's like, it's just, this is why it's sitting on your like face. Like you need to stop it. But it's like, if you are addicted to the products, even more reason that you need to be washing and cleaning your scalp once a week, because it's all building. And when people think they have like dandruff or these other kind of conditions, it's like, well, when did you last wash your hair?
Yeah.
4 weeks ago?
Yeah. And in all reality, almost every scalp condition is treated at least by frequent washing. So if it comes to dandruff, if you would ask me, what should I do? I would recommend medicated shampoo, but worst case scenario, a shampoo will already also help you out. And there was a recent study was last year during summertime where they actually tested on people of color with type 3 and 4 hair, specifically from South Africa. They really like sourced the right candidates to be like, okay, we want them to really be colored and not just a mixture of things.
Right.
And they like measured and they took pictures and they like really checked out their scalps. And a lot of them had inflammation. Some had dandruff, but a lot of them had inflammation from buildup. And the only thing that changed in their routine was that they frequently washed. And there was such a big difference when it comes to, there was a reduction of inflammation. A lot of them had, or their dandruff being completely under control or reduced. So with all of these things, the recommendation will be to wash more frequently. Product buildup, wash more frequently. Hair is flat, wash more frequently, unfortunately. And well, unfortunately, I think that we just need to get used to it. And unfortunately, our hair just takes takes more time to like get through when it comes to our wash day.
Yeah.
But that is what it takes to get you to that hair goal or that scalp goal.
That makes sense. So if there's one takeaway from this, wash your hair with at least, you said 9 days is pushing it, but at least every 9 days, once a week, you can do that. Yeah. And it doesn't matter. Now, last heat, we're going to do a rapid fire round here about skincare and some hair stuff. But I want to first ask you last, is heat a bad thing? I'm going to just come in. You can break my heart. You can break my heart. I'm going to come in and say, I have joined the straight natural community. We've made up new names. Basically, I blow dry my hair with a heat protectant. I don't flat iron, but I do a blowout, right? Because for me, to your point, I have so many textures in my hair that I find that it grows best because of me, not because I would not say straightening your hair is the answer or blow drying your hair. I would say for me, because I am not skilled, I am not patient, I realize I do less damage to my hair when I stretch it out with some heat. And then I can, do the normal things, put in twists, all that stuff, tie it up at night. So is heat a bad thing?
The honest answer is, is it damaging? Yes, but that brushing is also damaging if we really need to nitpick, But I always say I am a big believer in not keeping your hair wet for longer periods of time. I think it does more harm than good, even though for our textures, wet hair creates more manageability. It also puts our hair in a position where it's still super fragile. So I would always recommend to dry as quickly as possible, but with minimal heat and with a heat protectant. So it's the least damaging way to use heat on the hair. Let me just say that.
Yes, exactly.
But
so
always use a heat protectant.
Yes, non-negotiable. If you're going to put heat to your hair, and it's true, like I've had to shave, I'm not going in with super hot tools anymore. And we have so many, they're expensive, but we have so many now that really have done a better job at reducing heat
100%. I think that that's the thing with everything in general, even with like coloring and stuff, all these things are not the same as they were years ago. There's really has been a evolution of techniques and technologies and science into not only like products but also tools, and it's the same with blow drying tools. Me myself as well. I'm not sure if I can say that, but I'm a huge fan of Dyson tools. Yes, is it still heat? 100%. But they have also proven that it's a safer way to use heat because they focus on airflow instead of the heat temperature. And as soon as you think about it, it makes so much sense because you just want to blow away the water. Like that's what you want. You want to just get rid of it. Doesn't matter to me if it's like through wind, if like as long as it's the safest way to do it. So yeah, you're totally right. Like the tools also really have evolved when it comes to how they're able to, well, like just keep your hair's health in mind. Yeah, way more.
Yes. And again, it goes back to like lifestyle and goals. I love that you started with like lifestyle and goals. And it's like everything's a trade-off. Like you said, brushing your hair is damaging. However, it's about if you're like going to go, the only way you know how to be natural is a wash and go, and you're going to damage your hair and have it break off, then some gentle heat and protecting it may be your best option, right? If you're somebody who's going to do twist outs and are really dedicated and put your hair in like nice, gentle braids and things like that, well, then you're going to have some damage, but you can maintain it. So you're not going to have to worry about those pieces. So going full circle back to the lifestyle and goals.
Yeah. Yeah. And it really also has to do with just genetics, like how fragile is your hair in general. I think that like with everything in life, it's even when like I like to work out and I try to have certain goals, and sometimes I stick to them and sometimes I don't, but I don't expect myself to be like a bodybuilder in 2 days. It's like it takes, and it's all about balance. I still like my chocolate. I still like my coffee with some like syrup in it. It also needs to be fun. And I think that that's for everyone who's listening. I know that it can be like super frustrating sometimes that you hear so many people like, you need to do this, you need to do that. But also remember, hair is supposed to be fun. And especially for us women with textured hair, who've been like, I feel like we've been left out for such a long time to express ourselves when it comes to our hair. Let this be a fun period. Don't be too frustrated if your hair isn't growing super fast, or that you're like, I want a different color, but I'm afraid to damage my hair and to be back at square one. Sometimes you need to do something fun to get the fun back as well, instead of it feeling like it's such a chore to do, and as soon as you get to that point, you'll notice that things like length and stuff will become less important. It's yes, it's our hair, but it's also just our hair. You know what I mean?
Right. It's not that serious. It's serious, but not that serious.
Right.
And I love that we're all about joy in this podcast. So I love that you're like, let's bring joy back into our hair and in all the ways and not obsess. So that is perfect. I want to leave us with some rapid fire skincare. Okay. Skincare, a little bit. I'm going to start with hair care because I have a couple of hair care ones. Okay. Yeah. So, and these are yes or no's. You might have a little context, but yes or no. Okay. Everyone's talking about hair gloss. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. I just tried one. These are selfish questions for me. No, I promise. There's general ones. Okay. So hair glossing is yes. Okay. All right. Masks on hair. Yes or no? Hair masks.
Yeah. Just don't let them in overnight, please. Just
very important
directions.
Oh, yeah. I've done that. I learned the hard way. Again, go to a good hairstylist too. They'll tell you, don't ever do that. You're going to mess your hair up. But yes. Okay. Not overnight. Okay. Let's move on to skincare. Tretinoin. Yes or no?
Yes, but under guidance.
Good. Get your dermatologist to give it to you. That's the point. Get someone who knows what they're talking about.
And always wear sunscreen with that. Well, always wear sunscreen in general, but especially with like ingredients and products like tretinoin, sunscreen is important.
I was just about to ask sunscreen, yes or no, but
yes, for everyone, no matter what skin tone you have, sunscreen is a yes for everyone.
True or false, sunscreen might be like one of the most important. If you have like one step in your skincare, is sunscreen going to be it?
Yeah, because if you look at the science and the studies, sun damage is real, and not like obviously the sun can give you skin cancer, and that is horrible, obviously, but it also just rapidly ages you. And it doesn't matter, like, I know us melanin people are like, yeah, black don't crack, I get it, but if you would wear sunscreen, you would see that like there's no way it would crack just because we're preventing it, and it also causes DNA damage, so like internal DNA damage. So sunscreen for everyone.
Sunscreen for all. This is
Yeah.
important. Sunscreen for all.
Yeah.
Okay. Other ingredients that people are obsessed with. Hyaluronic acid. Yes or no?
Yes, but just in a different product. It doesn't have to be like specifically hyaluronic acid serum.
10-step skincare routines. Yes or no?
No. It's fun though, but no.
I know. It's like, it's super fun to have 50,000
So the
things.
self-care little moment, I do think that it kind of also started because people just found it like they wanted to have some time for themselves, and that is kind of how it evolved and got into this like 10-step routine. But necessarily, it's not necessary. No.
Okay. Red light therapy.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any, like, if you're going to go outside, so we've already discussed that we don't need 10 steps, which yeah, we kind of know that, right?
Yeah.
Is there an ingredient that you think is like, if you're going to be looking at skincare or different serums, because there's no shortage of what you can choose, are there some ingredients you should be looking for instead of being like, I need 10 steps? Instead, no, try these ingredients.
To be super honest, I wouldn't say like specifically ingredients. I would say
Okay.
again like a routine, and it would be kind of similar to like the hair and scalp. Yeah, it would be cleanse, so good cleanser, a good moisturizer, and a serum is fun to add, but like you just want a moisturizer and you want sun protection. So it's kind of similar as with hair. I would say that, but not a specific ingredient. That really depends on like your skin and your needs. Yeah.
Okay. I have one last one, and then we're
Okay.
done. It's a mixture of
We're
skin
done
and hair.
already. Oh,
We're
God.
done
Okay.
already. This flew by. Okay. Botox in the hair. Have you heard of hair botoxing and skin botoxing? We already know about skin botoxing. But
Yeah.
hair botoxing, what are we doing this? What is this?
I still don't get it. Like, no, I don't get it. I wouldn't personally do it. I don't know. I kind of feel like we give new names to every single thing. And like, if you want, because they say it's like a volumizing, if you just want a volume boost, then just go for a good mousse or like a texture powder, or like there are other ways. No, to be honest, I have just seen it go viral, but I don't see anyone really doing it again. Or yeah, no.
It feels like it's a trendy thing like somebody just said, what if we tried it here? And then we're like, okay. And then we'll see what happens with it.
Yeah, I think that it's a lot of marketing, and I think it's also a human habit that we're always looking for the next best thing instead of appreciating the thing that we already have. And it's kind of like, yeah, hair Botox, like, do we really need it, or should we just focus on what we have right now? And yeah, no.
Go wash your hair once a week, right?
Yeah.
Like before you chase a trend. Yeah, don't keep a routine. Don't just jump into the next thing. That makes sense. That makes total sense. Okay, I lied. One last question.
Okay.
It relaxers.
Ooh. So I briefly talked about this one because I did get questions on it, because people are like saying like there are lawsuits right now. There's been some studies done that show that it could increase the risk. So I really need to say that specifically, because people also are reading studies wrong, that it could increase the risk of certain types of cancer. I think that more research needs to be done. I do think that we should be conscious about like what we're actually using and applying. And I also think that we should do it less frequent if you still decide to do it, because a lot of the times people are doing it like almost every other week. Now, I'm exaggerating, but like they're doing it a lot of the time. So that also means that you get exposed to the chemicals a lot of the times, way more often than you need to. So I would say with caution, keep an eye on what they're going to do. But I also want to say, just because there's a lawsuit doesn't mean that means that someone is in the wrong. But in this case, there are some studies, and they're still, continue to research it to see what it's doing. So I would say with caution. And I would also say that nowadays, we talked about the tools. With hair products as well, there are a lot of alternatives right now when it comes to straightening that can also give you great results. So really think about it, like, do I really need it? With caution. It's not a yes or no. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, I think that's a measured, thoughtful answer, like with caution and for explore some of the alternatives. And like you said, with the tools out there now, even people who feel like they have some hair texture that's hard for them to maintain, with a good heel, it might be worth the investment just financially to get a really good heat tool to be able to stretch your hair.
Yeah.
And it'll be less damaging potentially in the long run as we wait for more studies to come out. So
exactly.
that makes so much sense to me. Angela, any parting words, and how can we connect with you before we leave?
Gosh, I hate this self-promoting. That's so not me. But final words, I think that we kind of summed it up. I think that, like just don't forget that hair is also supposed to be fun. Keep it simple. Start with like a simple routine. And you can find me on Instagram, on TikTok nowadays. So Bella. That's where you can find me. If you have anything like personal when it comes to scalp or hair condition, you book an online consultation with me. It is online. Unfortunately, I can't get it there. But yeah, I'm always here to help. But thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun. I didn't even feel like we were in a podcast setting like that. It was just fun.
That's how we like to do it here. That's how we do it here at Black Girl Burnout. So wonderful. We'll have you back. I feel like people are going to ask a bunch of questions, and we're going to have, so we might have a Q&A.
Perfect. And just know there's no weird question. Just put it out there. I'm all open to talk about everything.
Oh, this is amazing. So send your questions in. If you have questions for Angela, I already have some follow-up ones, and we're going to do a Q&A. We've already got, this is how I like to rope you in, Angela, to have you be like our cosmetic chemist. So to be continued, Angela, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.